Hey everybody, Qroo Paul here. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about different expressions that use the Spanish mega verb dar, to give. And if you're just using dar as in to give, like I gave the information to my wife, le di la información a mi esposa, you are missing out, okay? Now I'm going to cover a lot of these today. So if you're a member of my private learning group, the Qroo Spanish Crew, you can find a PDF over there that you can download that'll have all of these expressions and examples to help you study. Now, if you're not a member of the Qroo Spanish Crew, but you'd like to learn more and possibly join, I'll put a link to it in the description section of this video. Now, I'm going to tell you right up front, there are a ton of expressions with dar. If you pop over to wordreference.com and type in dar and start scrolling, you're going to come up with tons of them. In fact, if we go all the way to the bottom here, keep going, right here at the bottom, it says next 100, and there they go. There are hundreds of these. Now, I don't expect you to learn them all. They're not all particularly useful, but the ones I'll be talking about in today's video are ones that, well, you can work into your Spanish that I use personally, and I think they're useful. So I'm going to kick this off with an expression I really like, and it is darle vueltas a. And this is when we're dwelling on something, we're overthinking it. And vueltas are turns. So what we're saying is we're giving it so many turns. And I have the le in there. That's an indirect object pronoun. We're going to be using this in this expression. So it has to be there. So that's a little reminder. Now, it's not always going to be attached to dar. You have to understand how to use indirect object pronouns. If you don't, it's a big aspect of Spanish. I have videos on it on the main channel, stuff over in the Qroo Spanish Crew you can practice with. So here's one. I keep thinking about our conversation. I keep dwelling on our conversation. Sigo dándole vueltas a nuestra conversación. That's literally, I keep giving turns to our conversation. Now that indirect object pronoun, the le, can be attached there to the Spanish gerund, the gerundio, or it can appear before the conjugated verb. It could say, le sigo dando vueltas a nuestra conversación. Now, when you're using this, if you really want to stress that somebody's really overthinking it, it can change a little bit, and we're going to use this word tantas, which means so many. So what we're literally saying is you're giving so many turns, you know. So you could say something like, my sister always overthinks everything. So we could say it without tantas, you know. Mi hermana siempre le da vueltas a todo. Or we could really stress she gives so many turns to everything. Mi hermana siempre le da tantas vueltas a todo. See, it's just a little bit of emphasis there. Now, we don't have to include the thing that we're overthinking. And if we don't, we're not going to have that there. For example, I could say something like, after a week of thinking it over or dwelling on it, I made a decision. Después de una semana dándole vueltas, right? After a week of thinking about it, tomé una decisión. I made a decision. But in Spanish, we say we take a decision. So let's say I want to give some helpful advice to someone. I want to say, hey, stop overthinking it. How am I going to do that? Well, there's another useful construction that, you know, would be perfect here, and that is using the verb dejar. And dejar means a lot of things. I could say, voy a dejar esta taza aquí. I'm going to leave this cup here. I can use dejar to let somebody do something. For example, I could say, voy a dejar que los niños jueguen afuera. I'm going to let the children play outside. But when we use dejar with the preposition de, it means to stop doing something. Perfect, right? Then we're just going to drop in infinitives. Deja de darle tantas vueltas. Stop thinking about it so much. And if we want to specify what we're talking about, we're going to pop in a and whatever it is. For example, deja de darle tantas vueltas a este asunto. Stop overthinking this matter. Stop thinking about this matter so much. Stop dwelling on this matter so much. And asunto is a really good generic word for just like the matter at hand. Now, I did a lot of examples for that particular one because I think it's a really useful expression. And because there's some differences and options there, I thought it was warranted. But don't expect this many examples for the rest of them. All right. I mean, this video would have been, it'd be way too long. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and go on to our next one. And with this one, seems pretty simple. It's just dar con. And we're literally saying to give with. But what it means is to find, to run into, or to locate something, usually after some type of a search. Very common when you're talking about the police. The police found the suspect after several days. La policía dio con el sospechoso después de varios días. See, it's just to give with. And if you didn't know that, you didn't know this set expression, then you probably would have translated that incorrectly. If you run into her, tell her to call me. Si das con ella, dile que me llame. And right there at the end, the tell her to call me, dile que me llame. Llame is in the subjunctive. Haven't talked about the subjunctive in this video yet. It is the keystone to learning Spanish. If you don't know it, you should learn it. I have a playlist called the Subjunctive Triggers Playlist. Watch it. And if you're a member of the Qroo Spanish Crew, there's a ton of material over there on the subjunctive to get you up to speed. All right? All right, the next one on our list is dar a plus a location. And this means like to open up to or to face something. In fact, think of it that way. And this is with permanent structures. That window overlooks the main street or faces the main street. Esa ventana da a la calle principal. How about this one? Since we're talking about the subjunctive, I want a house. No, I want to buy a house that faces the sea. You want to try that one? We haven't had you try any yet. I'm just drinking my coffee here. I'm actually drinking my own brand of coffee. Yes, we have a Qroo coffee company now. I mean, why not? It makes sense. I'm always drinking coffee. We're only shipping in the US. It all comes from smaller farms through Latin America. This particular one is our Mexican blend, Échale ganas, very Mexican expression. And it's coming from Oaxaca and Chiapas, and it's very good. It's what I'm drinking now. If you'd like to check that out, we have free shipping in the US. It's the only place we're shipping to. And it's always roasted when you order. So I'm telling you, the smell is phenomenal. Oh, I can already smell it. Oh, I just love that ground coffee smell. So it's roasted and ground when you order. I also have whole bean coffee, so you can grind it yourself, and it's roasted and shipped the same day if you do that. So you'll find a link to that in the description section of the video. So back to this. I had you translating something. What was it? I want to buy a house that faces the sea. Quiero comprar una casa que dé al mar. And it's de because it's a subjunctive trigger, right? Subjunctive. You gotta learn the subjunctive, folks. Next one on our list is one of my favorites, and it is dar por hecho, like given for being done, is what we're literally saying here if it helps you remember it. And it means to assume or to take it for granted that something has been done. Don't assume it. Ask him. No lo des por hecho, pregúntale. And that uses the imperative there. All of the employees assumed that Maria was sick. Todos sus empleados dieron por hecho que María estaba enferma. The next one on our list is dar la cara, literally to give the face. And what it means is to accept consequences, to accept responsibility for something. Someone has to take responsibility, accept the consequences. Alguien tiene que dar la cara. You don't have to say anything else. He never accepts responsibility when there are problems. El nunca dar la cara cuando hay problemas. Next one on the list is one that's really common in Spanish, and it is darse cuenta de, and it is to realize or notice something. Did you notice that Maria arrived late? ¿Te diste cuenta de que María llegó tarde? Sí, me di cuenta. Yes, I noticed. And it can be like to realize something. I realized that I was wrong, I was mistaken. Me di cuenta de que estaba equivocado. Lo siento. Lo siento. Next one on the list is dar a conocer, and it means to announce or make something known. Now you should already be familiar with that verb, conocer, which is one of the ways that we say to know. This is the one to be like familiar with things, people, places, things like that, like ¿Conoces a María? Do you know Maria? That sort of thing. But in this expression, dar a conocer, it means to announce or make known. They're going to announce the results tomorrow. Van a dar a conocer los resultados mañana. And we're literally saying they're going to give to be known the results. So don't forget that little a in there. The president made the new plan public, or, announced the new plan. El presidente dio a conocer el nuevo plan. And you could sometimes use this like with the passive say, like the pronominal, like, darse a conocer, to say it's been announced, but not saying exactly who did the announcing. When was the news released? When was it, announced? ¿Cuándo se dio a conocer la noticia? So it can be used that way as well. This next one is very similar to that last construction, and it is dar a entender, but it's going to use entender, which means to understand. And with this expression really means that somebody is suggesting something more indirectly, hinting at something. You're getting the impression of something, like implying. She implied, or she gave me the hint or gave me the idea that she didn't want to come. Me dio a entender que no quería venir. Like, she gave me that impression, right? Literally, we're saying she gave to me to understand that she didn't want to come. Like, I had the understanding she didn't want to come. However, you really need to wrap your head around it so this one makes sense, because it's not going to match your English exactly, so we have to kind of think of it a little bit differently. Did he suggest or imply anything else? Te dio a entender algo más? Te dio a entender algo más? And you can use this in first person, like you hinted to them that, you didn't agree. Le di a entender que no estaba de acuerdo. Hey, I hinted to them that I didn't agree. Next one on our list is one I did mention in the video on locuciones, and it is dar a luz, to give birth. Literally, to give to light. It's a good way to remember it, I think. My sister gave birth last night. Mi hermana dio a luz anoche. That one's pretty straightforward. I don't think we need a lot of examples. So let's move on to the next one. Dar la bienvenida, to welcome someone. Literally, to give the welcome. We welcomed my brother. Le dimos la bienvenida a mi hermano. And that's literally, we gave the welcome to him. Next one on our list is a useful expression. Darle la espalda a alguien, and that's to turn your back on someone. Just means the same thing like it does in English, but literally we're saying to give them the back. He turned his back on him when he needed him most. Le dio la espalda cuando más lo necesitaba. Don't turn your back on your family. No le des la espalda a tu familia. Literally, don't give the back to your family. Now, I could just keep doing expressions with dar for hours, but I don't want to do that. We're already getting close to some information overload. I will tell you that it's going to be used a lot with certain emotions, and I'm going to just cover a few of those because you're going to see that that's pretty useful. And one of the common one is dar miedo, and that's like to give fear. It's like to be scary or to scare. Think of it that way. I'm afraid of flying, but what I'm literally going to say is it gives me fear to fly. Me da miedo volar. Me da miedo volar. Next one on the list is going to use a noun that's always going to appear in the plural like this, and it is celos, which means jealousy. So it's dar celos is to make someone jealous. And the challenge here will be to kind of make this fit your English so it makes sense to you later. So our English looks like, hey, he got jealous that she spoke with her ex. That's what our English looks like, but we have to make it Spanish. So if we're going to use this particular construction, what we're literally saying is it gave jealousy to him that she spoke with her ex, right? What would that first part look like? I haven't had you do anything today. What would that first part look like? Le dio celos, right? Gave him jealousy. Que, that. You want to try the last part? That she spoke with her ex? Que ella hablara con su ex. Hablara. Did you say habló? Pretty common mistake, when you're learning. The reason it's hablara, that is in the imperfect subjunctive. I know the subjunctive just keeps coming up. And it's because this is a trigger. We have an emotional reaction, right? In our first clause, we have the word que. So the verb in the second clause, that's causing this emotional reaction is going to be in the subjunctive and has to agree with tense. So we're speaking the past tense, so it's the imperfect subjunctive. And I know that was a lot of grammatical terms, and some folks are like, wow, I didn't even understand the English there. I use those terms so you can go look up things like the subjunctive and then learn all about it. So next one I'm going to show you is dar vergüenza. Vergüenza is embarrassment, so it gives you embarrassment. It's to get embarrassed about something. And I'm going to give you an example here that does not use any kind of subjunctive because I don't want to, confuse anybody who's not at that level yet. It embarrasses us to speak Spanish in public. Nos da vergüenza hablar español en público. Next one on the list is dar risa. Risa is laughter. This is to make someone laugh. Literally, it gives laughter to someone. Esa historia me dio mucha risa. That story made me laugh. But literally, that story gave me a lot of laughter. Now you can plug in a lot of nouns after dar to make different sayings, like dar tristeza, to make sad. There's also verbs to make sad, entristecer. So there's different ways to say everything. I'm just going to cover one more thing before we head out that I think is useful, and that is when something's disgusting. It gives you disgust. It's like making you sick. That is dar asco. I think it's useful. Asco is like that, just disgust. Like when something's disgusting, you just say, "Qué asco." Ooh, how disgusting. So if something makes you feel that way, it can give you asco, right? That odor is disgusting. It's making me sick. Me da asco ese olor. Oof, oof. Just thought I'd end on that note. Well, that's it for the video. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. It just helps with the whole YouTube algorithm thing. And until next time, hasta luego.